Harper Stahl, and I'm here with Savannah Libby, and this is the 6th grade boys game.
Loss of 3. Sets up a 2nd and 15. Tackle for a loss for the Comets.
Hello, and welcome back to Dwyer Field for the Mason Youth Football 2021 Grimes Bowl. Currently, it is the Lakota Thunderbirds versus the Mason Comets. It's third down, and 3rd and 21. It's 31. The Thunderbirds are coming through. Got sacked by Mason, making an advance in yards.
Word on the play from Niall Knutson.
Look.
For about a 4-yard gain. Sets up a 4th and 16.
4th and 16, Lakota ball. I think, Harper, what do you think right now? What do you think this Lakota team needs to be focusing on going into this first half?
The Comets have pretty good defense from what we've seen so far, so I really think they need to be focused on getting the ball down the field, and the Comets need to stop them and then score themselves.
Exactly, couldn't have said it better myself.
Savannah, what do you think the Comets need to do this game so they can get a win?
I think it's important that the Comets really focus on where the ball is, the positioning. I think that in past games it hasn't quite been treated with the intensity that it needs to be, and I think that this coach here is really getting connected to the players, and I think he's really getting involved, and that's helping this team tremendously, and I can already see it. Their energy is a lot higher than some of the other previous games, and that's helping them.
I agree. This 6th grade team looks like they have some real good players, and that they're going to be able to stay in this game, maybe even win it.
It's a Comet ball. It's going to be a 1st down, and that'll be 1st and 10 for the Comets. Made a beautiful play, cutting straight through right there. As you can see, he goes past all of those defenders, comes right in, and lands graciously on the ground at the 55-yard mark. Harper, do you think that there's any weaknesses in the defense that Lakota should be focused on right now, or that Mason should try to be attacking, whether on the offensive end?
It looks to me that the sides of the field are being left wide open.
Oh, and he's on the 15, the 10,
and
the 5, and that's
touchdown!
a touchdown for the Mason Comets.
Touchdown.
With only 18:15 on the clock.
That is a great start.
That is a great start for this Comets team here. I'm excited for this game. They're already pumped up. They got momentum. They have music playing. They're in the right headspace, and this coach is connecting with them. They're working well as a team right now, and hopefully they can keep that momentum up.
Wow, I am impressed. That was really quick.
That was a 45-yard touchdown there. And the Mason Comets are now going to go for a 2-point conversion. Coming across, trying to get it in. And it's good. That's a 2-point conversion.
All right, so it's 8-0. Comets are up with 17:22 left in the first half.
You can see that play beautifully again. Watch them cut across. And you're going to pass it over, and there's plenty of space, brought it right into the end zone. Now, Harper, as the Lakota team goes into this timeout, what do you think that they need to be focusing on defensively to make sure that they can get more stops so this Comet team just doesn't rain?
I think they're going to have to be really careful about what they leave open, and they're going to need to be just constantly on the ball because this Comets team has already shown that they are dominant.
Clearly, I agree. And that'll be a first down at the 65-yard line for the Lakota team. Coming through, they ran a trick play and they got a few yards. He tried to run the ball there, didn't quite work. This Comets defense is playing quite well today. What do you think, Herbert?
I think they're doing very well, and if they keep this up, they are going to be very successful.
I agree. It's a 2nd and 8. 2nd and 8. Lakota ball. Number 24 has it. He's trying to rush. Couldn't quite get the yardage he wants, but still got a few. That's going to be 3rd down there.
One to the right side, no gain for Tom Hawks. 3rd and 9.
Third and 9. Lakota team's trying to come through. Mason going for it. Got his legs, brought him down. It's still going to be a 4th down. They didn't gain any yardage there. It's still 4th and 9. They need to either pass it or they need to opt to punt it. Unfortunately, they're not yet punting yet, so it'll just be a turnover and Comets ball. As you just saw there, they opted to punt it. So they're just going to move downfield. And it'll be Comets possession. This 6th grade team today is looking pretty sharp. And I'm excited to see what they have in store. I know that this team, they seem very well connected. They're moving like one unit. They seem to like this game. They like being here. The entire team seemed very excited when they walked on the field. I think this is a great matchup. Now, Harper, what do you think that Lakota could have done differently during that last possession?
I think that they need to be paying more attention and trying to really just make the most of every play they have, which I don't feel like they're doing that at the moment.
I agree. It was snapped back there, and then they brought him down. It's going to be 2nd and 12 for the Comets. They need to focus on trying to get a little bit of yardage. Maybe passing it out to a wide receiver would work the best, but we won't find out until we see what they do. But this Lakota defense seems to be understanding that they can't play the same way, or else Mason's going to keep getting these quick touchdowns and points, and I think they're adjusting to that, which is good. They snapped it back. They're running it across. They're adding a nice layer of protection. Couldn't quite get through, and that's going to be 2nd and 14.
One to the outside, no gain.
3rd and 14.
For Calvin Jackson on the carry.
There's no gain. There's an offside call there.
Sets up a 3rd and 15 for the Comets.
It's going to bring them to 3rd and 15 for the Comets. I think it's important right now that they really focus on movement and trying to get around. They should consider passing the ball maybe instead of running it. Because they're not doing a great job at the blocking, and I think that could be improved.
Number 37, Dexter Rees just had a sack.
That's going to bring the Comets back quite a bit. There's no gain on the play there.
Sets up a 4th and 16 for the Comets.
As you can see, the Lakota defense is really stepping it up, especially with Mason in the first few minutes of the game getting a touchdown. I think they're starting to realize that it's important that they're really focusing on what they have in front of them and what they can do with that. It's going to be Lakota ball in the first down, 1st and 10. At the 53-yard line. Lakota needs to consider running the ball, maybe trying to get a little bit of yardage. This is kind of going back and forth because Lakota originally wasn't doing so great, but now their defense really came in and they put a stop to almost everything that the Comets were doing. And I think it's important that they continue to try to stop this. Now their offensive end isn't looking as great, but they did get a few yards there. That's going to be a 3-yard gain for the 2nd down, 2nd and 7. Now, Harper, what do you think this Lakota offense needs to focus on that their defense hasn't already covered by shutting down the Comets?
I think that the Lakota offense really needs to find gaps in the Comets' defense because we can already see that the Comet offense is very, very strong, and so Lakota's going to have to match that intensity if they're going to want to keep up with them, so they're going to really need to find a way to get around that defense, whether it's running or throwing.
Yeah, I agree. I agree completely, yeah.
Getting Medley for a few yards again.
And that's going to be another few yards there for the advance there for the Comets, and it will be 3rd and 5.
Savannah, what do you think the Comets are going to have to do to keep their lead in this game?
I think the Comets right now, to keep their lead in the game, they need to focus more on their offensive side because they're defensively, they're doing a pretty decent job at shutting this Lakota team down. Although I think that it's important to consider that, if Lakota can reciprocate what they're doing exactly, then it's not the prime goal to just try to do a Hail Mary and score. I think they need to be strategic, and I think they need to really think these through.
I completely agree with you.
Yeah.
That was a really nice looking play right there with that tackle.
Looks like it's going to be an injury timeout there for number 4 for Lakota. They all took a knee. It's great to see the level of sportsmanship that they have and how they're really applying that to this game. Is because it's important to not only raise young athletes and raise them to be physical, to be active, to strive to do better, but it's important to raise them as people. And I think that we've really seen that today in all of these games, and I think it's important not only in youth football and in youth sports. I think it's important in the entire aspect of athletics is just making sure that you respect your opponents, and at the end of the day you realize it's just a game.
I couldn't have said it better myself. I really think these young athletes have been showing some really good qualities tonight.
Yeah, I completely agree. It looks like the Lakota team is going to take number 4 off of the field, and they're subbing in. Seems that they're waiting for the coaches to clear the field before starting any of the plays.
4th and 7 for the Tomahawks.
And it's 4th and 7 for the Tomahawks. Lakota is going to take a timeout. And there is 9:08 left in the first half. They opted to punt it, so it's now going to be Comet ball here. The 1st and 10 for the Comets at the 25-yard line of the Tomahawks. Now, the comments are deep into Tomahawk territory. What do you,
Looks like he's going to try to run it. Let's see if they can make anything happen. Wow. He's getting to the 50.
he's going to keep going to the
Wow.
40, down to the 35, 30, 25. It looks like he's going to take this all the way to the end zone.
That is the second touchdown. That is the second touchdown of the game for the Comets.
With only 7:55 left on the clock. This Tomahawk defense, they were doing quite well after they stopped the Comets after their next possession. But they still need to continue to keep that same effort. They can't be relaxing at all. They were kind of all way too close together, and I think that's kind of just what happened. Number 20 for the Comets, he seemed to get around all of them and continue to go straight.
The Mason offense has been very impressive tonight. I'm very impressed by this.
Two-point conversion intercepted.
And the 2-point conversion there was intercepted. It's going to be Tomahawk ball. See, the Comets offense today, they've really been working hard. They've been getting after it, and they've been doing what they can. Now, Harper, what do you think that that the Tomahawk defense needs to focus on differently now in the remaining 6 minutes of this half and the remaining half that's left in the game?
I think they really need to focus on stopping the run because they haven't been throwing it as much. They've mostly just been running it, and so I think they need to focus on just stopping that like as soon as they can, because once the Comet offense has been getting around, they've been unstoppable, and that's where Lakota's having trouble.
Yeah, I completely agree there. The Tomahawks
Sack on the play.
they
Lucas
were sacked in the
Roach.
play. Now that will be a 2nd and 16.
For a loss of about 5, 2nd and 15, Tomahawks.
Looks like they're waiting.
I think something that Lakota is struggling with is they aren't really tackling anybody. They're sort of just running around.
Yeah, they're just trying to block them instead of really going for them. I think that Mason does a great job at teaching that when you need to go for a hit, you have to just go for it. You have to give it your all, and you can't be afraid for some of that contact. And I think that the Lakota here, they kind of seem like they're afraid of that contact, and that's sometimes it's okay, but right now they really need to get their heads in the game and really focus, even though they're not on their home field. It's important.
I agree.
And it looks like number 24 for the Thunderhawks is going to be sacked in the backfield.
It looked like that sack was number 14, Eli McDaniel.
And that will be 4th and
Sets up a 4th and
19 for the Comets.
Tomahawks select a punt.
The Tomahawks have selected a punt. They're going to bring it downfield. Now this Comets offense is about to come back in, and I think that the Tomahawks defense really needs to focus on what they can do to make sure all their bases are covered, and I think they need to not be afraid of that contact. They need to just go straight for it, and that hasn't really happened much this game, and and that can be worked on. I mean, they are still very young. This is a 6th grade team, so I think as they'll get older, that'll change, especially when they go into like and play for like middle school next year. But they're relatively well matched. Both these teams have good size. I think the Comets just have a little bit more speed, and the difference is that the Comets are using their speed rather than kind of ignoring it. If the Tomahawks use their speed to block them and not even just tackle them, just get them out of the way, just a little bit more to where the Mason Comets are, I think it could have a tremendous impact in this game. Now, Harper, what do you think about this?
I think that at this point, Mason needs to just do exactly what they've been doing, and Lakota needs to match the energy of Mason, and they can be in this game, and it would be a very good game.
Exactly, yes, yeah. And it's going to be 1st and 10 for the Comets. At the 50-yard line. Gonna have a runner behind. Snap it back. Kick it over to the runner. Now, that Tomahawks, it's kind of surrounded there.
The Tomahawk defense has started figuring out what the Comets are doing, and they're being able to stop them now.
Yeah, they're just passing it to the backfield, and then they're just trying to run the ball. And that can work until they figure out who they're passing to and then when they're going to pass it. And it seems like they've done that now. So maybe we'll see these Tomahawks get more of a defensive stop now that they know what's exactly going on. It'll be 2nd and 10 here for the Comets. They made 0 yard gains on that play. They're snapping it, putting it in the backfield. Not quite, kind of surrounded there. Tomahawk defense is really stepping it up right now.
That's true.
There's
something I definitely like to see more of is number 20, Alex Nagel, to run the ball. He's the Mason quarterback. I'd love to be seeing some of him running.
Yeah, I think a QB sneak right now could potentially be very good to this team and to this play because, well, one, the Tomahawks wouldn't be expecting it, and then 2, we're gonna see whether if they are prepared. So I think that the Comets might need to pull some of the tricks that are up their sleeve this game and maybe try a few plays that aren't as expected. Right now they're giving the QB the ball in the pocket, and that might not be the best. They're still trying to run it, which is okay, but they're not really getting much yardage.
Right.
Although they seem to have gotten 6 yards there for gain.
They need to get some yards.
Jackson gained about 5 yards.
I'm sorry, Harper, what were you saying?
The Comets need to get some yards if they're going to be running the ball like that, because by the time they get back from throwing it into the backfield, it's getting hard for them to get the yards because the defense is picking up on it and stopping them pretty early.
Yeah, exactly. So this is going to be 4th and 5.
If they tried to run it down the left side of the field, then they might be able to get something.
Yeah, because right now it seems like they're kind of leaving that open. It's definitely an option to consider, especially when they've tried running like back and then cutting straight through, and that of course that's not really gonna work because there's way too many people you have to go through in order for that to work, and these are sixth graders, so I mean it might work when you're like older and you have a secure offensive and defensive line that are working against each other, but it's not gonna really work now, and it doesn't work in most situations. But we're gonna be 4 and 5 here, and it'll be Comet possession. I think, Harper, what do you think the best course of action is for the Comets during this play?
I think the best thing they could do is throw it, or they could try to go up the far side of the field because the defense is leaving it wide open. But it looks like they're just going to run it and get tied up.
Yeah, they got tied up there. They only had about 1 yard gain. It'll be tomahawk ball. And that'll be a Comet timeout there.
There is 40 seconds left in the first half, and it's 14-0 Mason.
I think part of the reason why there's such a big difference in scoring is just, again, as I said earlier, and what you kind of played off of is that, you know, they have a tremendous amount of speed. This Mason team does. They don't have as much size as the Lakota team, and I think that Lakota isn't realizing that, or if they do, they're not using it. So I think that this Mason team, they need to continue doing what they're doing, which is using their speed to their advantage to really try to take control of this game, and I think they've done that. They've done that well.
I agree with that.
And we have our Mason defense back. They're trying to sneak behind. Gonna run, looking to throw it, or maybe run it. Threw it out, and it was incomplete. It's gonna be 2nd and 10 there for the Lakota Thunderhawks. It's going to be 2nd and 10 with about 15 seconds left on the clock. They have to step it up and make a play now if they want something to happen during the rest of this half. They're going to try to run the ball, going to get a few yards, and that will be the end of our first half. The score is 14-0, and we will be back after halftime.
All right, you can tune in about 10 minutes, and we'll be back with the second half of the Mason and Lakota game.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to ICRC-TV Sports.
Three-pointer? Got it! In for the Comets score. Win! The Comets win! Yeah!
Welcome back. I'm Harper Stahl, and I'm here with Savannah Libby, and this is the 6th grade Lakota versus Mason game.
For the 2021 Grimes Bowl, currently Mason is up 14-0. They had 2 very clean possessions where they were able to get the ball all the way downfield and rush it, and then they had a 2-point conversion. So hopefully they can continue this momentum going into this half. Now, Harper, what do you think about how this team is playing and what they can do to continue this in the future for the Comets?
I think the Comets are playing phenomenal. Their scoring seems to be relatively easy. Their defense is very solid. I think they just need to keep their momentum up. The good momentum has been helping them. And I think if they just keep doing this, playing hard in the future, they're going to be an incredible team this season.
Yeah, I agree. I agree completely. So it's going to be Comets ball at the 35-yard line, and it's 1st and 10. Now, Harper, what do you think this Tomahawks defense has to focus on right now?
They need to stop the drives because Mason has scored every time off of just running the ball. And if the Lakota defense can stop them, then they might be able to get back in it. That was a good tackle right there by the Lakota defense.
Isaiah Brooks.
Getting a stop early on.
They didn't have any
Brings up second and 11.
game. It'll be a 2nd and 11 there for the Comets. I think the Comet team right now, it's important that they focus on how they can adjust the way that they're playing. I think in the first half they had all this momentum, they were really hyped, and I think coming back in the second half they're in their heads a little bit, right? Because they're on this hot streak. And he's running the
there
ball.
He goes. Is that the 50? He's gone.
The 40, 35,
he's gone.
30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5, and that's a touchdown.
That's the 3rd touchdown for the Mason Comets.
For number 20 for the Comets. Now, that was a beautiful play there for the Comets. As you can see here, he goes, tries to pass it. It's a pass fake, cuts all the way straight through, and just goes straight down the field. Beautiful play, brings it right into the end zone with nobody even 10 yards within him.
Yep, beautiful play by number 20, Alex Nagel. And I see we talked about that earlier, about wanting to see the quarterback run the ball, and we saw it right there. It worked beautifully.
Exactly. Now they're going to snap it back, going for the 2-point conversion, and...
Are they going to get it? It looks like they got it.
Nagel with the keeper just short.
Just a little short there of a 2-point conversion.
2-point conversion, no good.
It wasn't good because the defense was just already there. I think he kind of just walked straight into it. Maybe if he got a little bit further to the right, it might have gotten it, but it didn't look like it.
The Mason offense is coming out very strong this second half, and I'm excited to see what they're going to do in the next 1940 of the game.
Yeah. I think and it's going to be Thunderhawk possession. Mason currently 20-0 against Lakota with 19:15 left on the clock in the second half. That was a beautiful play by Nagel there with the touchdown. Now, as the QB, he's made some great calls this game. I think the coaching for this Mason team is excellent. I think they're working together well, and I think this has potential for our Mason program. And they're trying to run it through, and he got sacked.
That was a nice sack. That was number 14, Eli McDaniel.
I think something that we already talked about, which you discussed with me earlier, is about how Lakota isn't welcoming contact.
Yes.
They aren't welcoming contact. It's just that the this Mason team, they're being so prominent and so physical. It's helping them immensely going into this game, and especially throughout the entirety of this game. And I think that's part of a big reason why they're dominant. It's not like you can tell in the field that they're playing very dominantly, and it's not particularly because of the size or anything. I think it's just because Lakota isn't really dealing with that contact, and I think that the part of it is that they're also in their head. And Harper, what do you think about that?
I think that with the Mason team being so dominant on the offensive side, the Lakota offense has also been having a hard time because most of these kids play defense and offense, and so they're getting down, and it's been very hard for them to get back in it, and it seems like they're starting to get a little frustrated.
Yeah, because they're getting scored on in one end, and then they go to the other side of the field, and then they don't have much in them because they're just in their head. I think that part of it's that they're not really particularly doing anything about that.
So let's see. The ball is at the. Looks like.
Looks like it's going to be 4 and 6 there for the Thunderbirds.
Right. Ball's at the 39, 38.
It looks like it's going to be at the 38-yard line in Comet territory. Now, continuing to look forward throughout this game, I think I can see the Thunderbirds scoring potentially, but right now I think it's important that maybe their coach call a timeout, get them out of their heads, just have them refocus, because these are relatively young kids, and the younger you are, the easier it is to kind of get your head.
All right.
That's going to be an incomplete pass there for Lakota.
That was a good-looking throw. I thought they were going to have that.
Yeah, it was just, it looked a little bit too long, but it's unfortunate. And now it shall be Mason ball, 1st and 10.
I'd really love to see Lakota get more physical in this game. With 15, 17 left, they're still in this, and I think if they really got physical, we could really see something happen.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Now, looking into this Comet's offense, what are you hoping to see for the rest of the game, Harper?
I want to see them keep doing what they're doing. It's working. I do want to see them throw the ball a little more because we haven't really seen that aspect of their game, and I'd love to see if they can do that. Number 20, it looks like he's going to be down at the 35.
Looks like they're going to.
Alex Nagel keeps it himself for a gain of 3.
It's going to
2nd and 7 for the Comets.
2nd and 7 for the Comets. I think it's that what they need to do is they need to if they run the ball, which they probably will, they need to try to look outside. And I know that they're having the QB throw from in the pocket, which is fine, or do handoffs, which is okay. But you still have to think about like, oh well, we have like a QB sneak where Nagel scored, so. Are we going to see that again? Like, are we going to see them go to the left side, maybe try to go somewhere with left coverage, or are they going to have heavy coverage? So
the thing about Mason is they're up, and so I feel like running the ball will be a safer option. Although I would like to see them throwing it, but it also, at this point, being up 20-0, it might be a good idea to hold the ball and run it.
Yeah,
Back
I
with
think
the line
when
made by
they're down to
Maxwell
maybe
Badia.
5 minutes left in this half, or 5 minutes left in the game, I think then you could go for a chance, because you don't really have enough
Sets up
time
for a 3rd and 9.
unless they get like some Peyton Manning type of play where you throw it all the way downfield. But these are 6th graders, so that's unlikely. But I think running the ball right now, like you said, is a great option for this team. And they're going to snap it back. They're going to get it through. And Lakota put them in the backfield. And that looks like it's going to be a loss.
Tackle in the backfield.
4th and 15.
Aiden Chappelle.
And that was a great tackle there by the Lakota Thunderbirds. I think it's important to consider that how young this team is and how well they're doing. I think that even though they don't have as much size as the Dakota team, I think that they're still using their speed very effectively. collectively, and they're coming together. Now, what do you think this coach is saying in the huddle for the Mason team right now, Harper?
I think he might be telling them not to be in their heads, because it seems like the last couple minutes of the game they've been not playing like they've been playing the whole game. It seems like to me they've been maybe a little nervous, and they're getting frustrated by the defense. But I think he's also would tell them that they're playing really well and just to keep it up. What do you think, Savannah?
I think the exact same thing, Harper. I think that, he should just tell them to just keep their heads above water, continue to do well, but don't get overly cocky. And I think they have a pretty good shot at the rest of this game.
I agree.
There's 11:25 left on the clock. Mason is up 20-0. Looks like it's going to be Mason ball.
First down, Tomahawks.
So a lot of mixed reactions here from the fans today. Most of these parents are here showing their support. Quite a few of the Lakota parents have showed up. And Lakota is going to fumble that, and there will be a flag on the play. It was recovered by
Walker's outside on the play.
Hudson. Harper, what do you think? What do you think happened particularly for him to fumble the ball? Yeah, so I also think that he just got in the wrong positioning there on the field, which is extremely important. So he's gonna come around. Number 4 is gonna try to sneak through there, and he's gone. And that
He
looks
gets
like
pushed out of bounds by number 14 on the Mason team, which is Eli McDaniel.
That looks like that'll be a first down there for the Thunderbirds.
First down run.
And he comes around the back, and he keeps going. Got quite a bit of yardage there. It's going to be a first down there. At the 44-yard line in Comet territory. So gotta just continue to work this ball down the field, try to get as much movement as you can, and that'll be crucial.
Chappelle up the middle for 5.
And they get sacked, but they did get a yardage gain of about 5 yards. That looks like it's going to be second and 4. Second and 4 going into this next possession for the Thunderbirds.
It seems like Lakota's getting a little antsy with their offensive line. I mean, they've made a few crucial mistakes here in the last couple minutes, and they really need to make up for that. And if they want to get back in this game, they're going to need to get a couple stops.
Yeah, I agree. I think that it's important. It's important that they continue the pattern that they're on right now. I think, it's also that they're getting in their heads. There's only 8:51 left in this game. They're losing by 20. They still have a shot. They could still turn this around, but they have to get out of their heads. They have to keep doing what they're doing. They can't lose the momentum that they're trying to get right now on offense, because the second that they start getting their heads, that's when they start to lose the game.
Yes. I would love to see the Lakota offense really make a good play. I'd like to see them do something like score the ball, get that momentum, because like we've seen, the Mason team scored very early on in the game. They just had this really good momentum the whole game. And so I'd love to see that from Lakota as well.
and it'll be the second and fourth coming into this Lakota possession again with 8:51 left on the clock. Comets are up by 20.
Oh, so the quarterback handed it off, and they're down at the, looks like the 47 or the 48.
Comets on the tackle.
Comets on the tackle. That'll be
That's a first down.
third
Third down and 1.
and it'll be 3rd and 1. All they need to do is they just need to get a little bit of yardage, maybe rush the ball. I think that's a good idea here, especially considering that's what they've been doing. That's what they're good at. They might want to do a slip play where they target the right side, considering that there's a weakness there right now with the Comet defense. But aside from that, I think they have a pretty good shot. And they snapped it back. They're doing a long pass.
Wow.
And that pass is complete.
That was impressive.
That'll be a first down for the Thunderbirds at the 31st yard line.
Williams.
That was a nice play. I'm
tremendous pass.
impressed.
We can see here the quarterback is passing it all the way downfield
To number 22, Marte Williams. That was a really nice pass.
And that was a great catch, though. It seemed to be going out of his hands a little bit, but he was able to secure it, which is always important in these things.
I think that play may be crucial to Lakota. I think that is going to help them get really good momentum. And there's, 7:18 left in the game. That's plenty of time to get a couple touchdowns.
Exactly. They need to continue this downfield. They need to at least score once. So it's a little bit more even. They have a better shot that way, and they'll start to gain their momentum back if they're not in their head as much. And there's a flag on the play. Looks like offsides on the Comets, and that will be a penalty. Looks like it's going to be a 5-yard penalty against the Comets. Still Lakota possession, first down. Now they are a lot closer. They're on the 25 yard line. They're getting a lot closer to the end zone. I think the Comets defense right now, well, Harper, what do you think the Comets defense right now should be really focusing on?
Getting a stop, because 20-0 is a pretty good lead, but it's also not set in stone. And I think they need to get the stop here, because if Lakota scores, then they could be able to come back.
Exactly. And
That was good. That was a good tackle by number 16, Cole Huggenberg.
Yeah, and they're making complete passes now. That's going to be another first down for the Comets. They're getting a lot closer to the end zone. They need to continue. They need to continue this, and when they go downfield, they're currently sitting on the 11-yard line. The 16th yard line, pardon me. The Comet defense right now, they need to make a stop. They need to focus on key players, especially like the quarterbacks. And he's going to make a slip, and he's going to get through.
Oh,
he will not make it to the
just
end zone.
barely. He was so close. It looks like he got down at the 1 or 2 yard line. Very, very close to the end zone. It looks like they're placing the ball at the 1.
They're going to be coming back around. Went out about at the 2-yard line there. This is a great opportunity for them to score. I think that their coaches aren't as concerned. The Mason coaches aren't right now, because considering if they do score, they will still be up by 14. So they're making some substitutions. Mason is. I think they're trying to focus in on this play. This play is very important to how the rest of the game will go. Now they're trying to get inside. Can't quite get it.
It looks like they're trying to get the ball to number 4 a lot.
Second and goal.
He seems to be making a lot happen for their offense.
Yeah, Chappelle is kind of their key player for this Lakota team. They're moving in and out offensively, and he's where the ball is going. And now we're gonna be right on top of the goal line at the 1 yard line, and I think what they need to do is just try to push, just have their offensive linemen try to maybe slip through or just go. And that will be a touchdown for the Lakota Thunderbirds. Their first touchdown in the game, which will make it 20-6 Lakota Thunderbirds.
So that is the first score of Lakota of the evening. It's now 20-6, and there's 3 minutes left in the game.
They gotta continue this. Like Harper, what do you think?
I think that was good. I wish they could have done this earlier in the game. I would have liked to have been able to see this more from them, because when they use their speed and agility and size really as most they can, they're going to be an unstoppable team.
Exactly.
They're very fast.
The 2-point conversion is good. It'll now be 20-8 for the Lakota Thunderbirds versus the Mason Comets.
2-point conversion.
Able to bring it back in. That was a nice throw over there and bring it right into the end zone.
They were able to get it right in a gap the defense left for them, and they took advantage of that.
Yeah, number 23, he tried to get over there in time, but there wasn't enough. And their entire defensive line was covered, so there wasn't really much that they could do there. But they still were present. The Comets have been present this entire game. They've made quite the impact. I think it's important to note that the Comets put their effort into the first half of this game. Being up by 12, and not that they're not in the second half, but it's just that it's more noticeable now because of the way that they're playing, the way that they're presenting themselves. And I think if we brought it down to maybe the last few minutes of this game, the Lakota Thunderhawks would be winning. But you have to consider that if you don't play hard the entire game, it's just going to happen. What do you think, Harper?
I think you're totally right, Savannah. I agree with you. I think you're right. I couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah. So it is second down. The Comets are in possession right out. The Hawks are on offense. They made a great play where they tackled them into the backfield. There's 48 seconds left in this game. Trying to make a final play before the clock runs out.
It's a good win for Mason tonight.
Yes, it is.
Their speed. I was very impressed by their speed and their ability to make plays. They had some really good runs. I was very impressed with that, especially at such a young age. Being able to do this, I think this is going to be a killer team, especially when they get into high school.
Yeah, exactly. And number 20 is trying to run the ball, and he's going to get sacked. And with 9 seconds left, the final score of this Mason versus Lakota game is going to be 20-8. I'm Savannah Libby, and I was here with
Bristol, and we're signing off. Thank you for watching.